The recruiter in Kiev looked at your passport and said one word in English. Why? You didn't have a good answer. You still don't. 3 days later, you're standing in a field in eastern Ukraine wearing a uniform that belongs to someone who isn't coming back for it. The boots fit. That's the only thing that fits. Around you, 18 other recruits are waiting for instructions, in a language you understand maybe one word in 5. The instructor walks out. He's missing 2 fingers on his left hand. He doesn't introduce himself. He starts talking. You try to keep up. This is day 1. You don't understand the first command or the second. The instructor speaks Ukrainian fast and flat, the way someone talks when they've said it 100 times and stopped caring if you follow. You pick up fragments. Down, move, faster. The other recruits are mostly Ukrainian, early 20s, some younger. They understand every word. You don't. You learn by watching their bodies. When they drop, you drop. When they run, you run. By the end of day 1, you know 11 words. Down, up, move, stop, run, left, right, grenade, cover, medic, faster. Enough to not die in training. The base is 3 rows of tents on a flat field that turns to mud when it rains. It rains every day. Your instructor rotated from Bakhmut 9 days ago. He doesn't talk about it. Nobody asks. He teaches with a cold efficiency that makes everything feel urgent because it is. On day 3, you fire live rounds. Not because you're ready, because there isn't time to wait until you are. The rifle is an AK variant you've never handled. The American in you expects a safety brief. There is no safety brief. There's a target at 200 meters and a magazine with 30 rounds, and an instructor who watches your grouping and says nothing. You shoot, you adjust, you shoot again. The rounds hit closer to center on the second magazine. The instructor still says nothing. That's as close to approval as this place gets. By week 2, your hands have blisters you've stopped treating because the medic has real wounds to deal with. You wanted this. You keep reminding yourself of that. It doesn't help as much as it used to. On day 28, the instructor lines everyone up. No speech, no graduation. He says one sentence you mostly understand. Bus leaves in 40 minutes. You pack everything into one bag. It takes less than 4 minutes. Your group started with 19. 13 remain, 2 quit. 1 broke his ankle on a night march. 3 were removed for reasons nobody explained. You are one of the 13. That's your first achievement in this war. Surviving training. The bus is old and smells like diesel and something sweet you can't identify. The man next to you is 22, from Dnipro. He doesn't talk. You ride east for 7 hours. When the bus stops, you hear artillery. Not close, not far, just there. Like weather that never ends. The staging area is a school that stopped being a school a year ago. Windows sandbagged, yet hallways smelling like damp concrete and cigarette smoke. You're assigned to 3rd Platoon, 2nd Company. The sergeant who processes your paperwork looks at your passport, then at you. American. It's not a question. Your squad is 8 men in a classroom with the desks pushed against the walls. That night, you ride to the position in the back of a pickup with no headlights. The trench is older than you expected. Timber and corrugated metal in some places. Just dirt in others. Your section of line is 40 meters facing a tree line 300 meters east. The Russians are in that tree line. You know because every 15 minutes something lands close enough to shake the walls of your dugout. You don't sleep. Not from fear exactly. From the concussions that hit your chest before they reach your ears. The experienced soldiers sleep through it. You're a private now. Radavi. It means you exist on a roster. That's all it means. 11 days in and the tree line lights up. No warning. Just sound and dirt, and the man next to you pulling you down by your plate carrier before you understand what's happening. You grab your rifle and return fire at muzzle flashes 300 meters out. You can't see faces. You can't see bodies. Just flashes in the dark between the trees. The firefight lasts 7 minutes. It feels like 70. When it stops, nobody cheers. Nobody says anything. The squad leader checks positions and counts heads. Everyone is still here. You sit back against the trench wall and notice your hands are shaking, not from cold. You tell yourself it's adrenaline. It is. That's not the part that bothers you. The part that bothers you is that by the 3rd time it happens, you stop shaking. Your ears learn the difference between incoming and outgoing without your brain being involved. Your body starts making decisions before your mind catches up. Move before the second round lands, because the second round is always closer. Stay below the lip of the trench when drones are overhead. Don't group up. Don't stand still. Don't look at the sky when you hear the buzzing, because the light from your face can mark your position. After 11 days, your name appears on a list posted inside the command dugout. Senior Soldier, Star Shy Soul Dot. It's not a ceremony, it's a notation on a piece of paper pinned to a board next to the rotation schedule. It means you've survived long enough to not be the newest person in the trench. The squad leader sees you reading it. He nods. That's it. You go back to your position. The tree line is still there, so are you. The mortar lands 14 meters from the squad leader's position on a Thursday morning. You hear it come in. By now you know the sound, the short whistle that means close. The impact throws dirt and metal fragments across the trench line, and when the ringing in your ears fades enough to hear voices, someone is calling for a medic. The squad leader is alive, but his left leg is open below the knee and he's losing blood fast. The medic is already working. You look around. The other men are looking at you. Not because you're the best, because you're next in the chain. Nobody asks if you're ready because the question doesn't exist in this context. You take over. You reposition the two fire teams to cover the section the squad leader was managing. You get on the radio and call for evacuation. Your Ukrainian is broken but functional enough for the words that matter. Coordinates, casualty, urgent. The evacuation vehicle arrives in 22 minutes. The squad leader is loaded and gone. You don't know if he'll keep the leg. You won't find out for 3 weeks. He does. You hold the position for the next 6 hours until the rotation comes. Nobody tells you that you did well. The platoon sergeant writes something in a notebook, and 2 days later, your name appears on another list. Junior Sergeant, Molodshai Sergeant. You're responsible for 8 men now. Not because someone decided you earned it, because the man who had the job before you is in a hospital in Dnipro learning to walk again. That's how promotion works in this war. Someone leaves, you fill the space. Nobody asked if you were ready. There wasn't time for the question. 4 months on the line. You've stopped counting days. You count rotations instead. 5 days forward, 3 days back, 5 days forward again. The rhythm becomes the only structure your life has. Your Ukrainian is functional now. Not good. Functional. You can follow a briefing, give orders, argue with a supply sergeant about ammunition counts. Your accent is the squad's only reliable source of entertainment. Someone gave you a call sign 3 weeks ago. It's a Ukrainian pun that combines the word for American with a word for a stubborn dog breed. You half understand it. You fully accept it. Today the mission is yours. A Russian observation post 180 meters east has been directing artillery onto your section for a week. You've watched the pattern. Morning adjustments, afternoon corrections, evening fire missions. The tablet in your hands shows a live drone feed from a reconnaissance unit 2 kilometers back. You read the coordinates. You confirm them on the radio. The operator asks you to repeat. You do. Clearer this time. Confirmation comes back in 2 words. On target. 8 seconds later, the position is gone. Smoke and silence where the observation post used to be. The artillery corrections stop that afternoon. Nobody congratulates you. The platoon sergeant marks it in his log. You're a sergeant now. Sergeant. The paperwork arrived yesterday, but you didn't notice until someone mentioned it at dinner. 4 months ago, you couldn't ask for water in Ukrainian. Now you're calling in strikes and filling out ammunition requests in a language that isn't yours, but has become yours anyway. You stop translating in your head somewhere around month 3. The American is still in there, somewhere underneath the call sign and the broken grammar and the mud. He's quieter now. They pull you off the line for 2 weeks. It feels wrong. The quiet feels wrong. The classroom is in a building somewhere west that still has running water and electricity and windows without sandbags. You sit in a room with 31 other sergeants who've been doing the same thing you've been doing. Nobody needs to be motivated. Everyone needs tools. The course covers platoon-level tactics, coordination with armor, integration with drone units, medical evacuation procedures when the evacuation isn't coming for an hour. The instructor draws diagrams on a whiteboard. You've already lived most of them. The final exercise is a coordinated platoon assault with live drone support across 600 meters of open ground. You pass. Not because you're talented. It's because you've already done it for real. And the instructors can tell the difference between someone who learned it in a classroom and someone who learned it in a trench. Senior Sergeant, Starshi Sergeant. The rank comes with the certificate. You return to the front 4 days later. Same unit, same trench, same tree line 300 meters east. But your platoon leader is gone. Shrapnel from a cluster munition caught him in both legs during a rotation you missed by 6 days. He's alive. He's in a hospital in Lviv. He won't come back. The company commander calls you into the dugout. He doesn't ask how the course was. He tells you you're the senior person in the platoon now. 31 soldiers. Yours. The rank of senior sergeant is already on the paperwork, but the responsibility arrived before the title did. That's how it works here. The job finds you before the rank does. You walk back to your position. The tree line hasn't moved. Neither have you. The commission arrives 3 weeks later. A single piece of paper delivered to a dugout by a clerk who drove 4 hours to bring it. Junior Lieutenant Molodchai Lieutenant. You sign it on an ammunition crate. The clerk drives back. That's the ceremony. Your first operation as an officer is already on the table. A Russian strongpoint 400 meters southeast of your position has been reinforced twice in the last month. It controls a road junction that your battalion needs for a resupply route that's been cut for 11 days. The order comes down. Take it. You plan the assault in a dugout with a tablet showing satellite imagery that's 6 hours old and a paper map that's more reliable. Your platoon plus an attached drone team, 34 men. You brief them in a voice you don't fully recognize as your own. The approach is through a drainage ditch that runs 160 meters before it ends at an embankment. From there, it's open ground, 240 meters with no cover. You assign the drone team to suppress the strongpoint's fighting positions from above, while 1st Squad breaches from the east and 2nd Squad flanks south. The timing has to be exact. You rehearse it twice in the dark. At 0200, you give the order. The platoon moves. The drainage ditch is knee-deep in freezing water, and nobody makes a sound. You reach the embankment. The drones go up. You hear them before you see the flashes on the tablet screen. 1st Squad moves, then 2nd. You're behind them with the radio coordinating what you can't see with what you can hear. The strong point takes fire from 3 directions at once. The position falls in 22 minutes. Your platoon clears 3 fighting positions and a command bunker connected by a trench system that wasn't on the satellite imagery. They adapted. You adapted faster. When the last position is secure, you count heads on the radio. Everyone reports in except one, Taras, 20 years old. From a village near Ternopil. He was in 1st Squad. He was the first through the door of the command bunker. The medic reached him in under 2 minutes. It wasn't enough. You stand in the position you just took and look at the body of a man you trained with and gave orders to, and who followed those orders exactly the way you taught him. The evacuation team takes him out before sunrise. You write the report that night. Grid coordinate, time of death, cause, fragmentation wound to the upper chest. The report reduces a person to 6 lines on a form. You understand now why your former platoon leader looked the way he did. Why every commander you've served under carried something behind their eyes that wasn't fatigue. It was this. The field promotion comes through 8 days later. Lieutenant, based on combat performance. The paperwork is 1 page. You sign it in the same dugout where you signed the last one. A new soldier arrives the following week. Young, Ukrainian, from Odessa. He drops his bag in the same classroom turned barracks where you dropped yours 11 months ago. He looks at you the way you looked at the experienced soldiers when you first arrived. You recognize that look. Uncertainty wrapped in determination, wrapped in something he hasn't named yet. You nod at him. Just a nod. The same one you received. You've become one of them. You're not sure when it happened. They give you a company. 112 soldiers. The responsibility is no longer just tactical, it's logistical. Ammunition counts, rotation schedules, vehicle maintenance, medical supply requests, morale reports that reduce human beings to readiness percentages. You've been in Ukraine for 14 months. Your Ukrainian is fluent with an accent that everyone recognizes and nobody corrects anymore. The American passport in your bag feels like it belongs to a different person, someone you were. Not someone you are. The major operation briefing comes on a Monday. A fortified village 7 kilometers northeast has been Russian-held for 7 months. 3 previous attempts to take it failed. Your company is the main assault element. You study the target package for 2 days. Drone reconnaissance, signals intelligence. You've satellite imagery updated every 4 hours. You know the village better than the Russians defending it. You brief the operation in a basement with maps taped to every wall. 87 soldiers looking at you. You know their names, you know their call signs. You know which ones have families and which ones write letters and which ones stopped writing letters 2 months ago. You know which ones won't be sitting in this basement next week. You can't think that way. You think it anyway. The assault is scheduled for 0300. You check your gear the way you've checked it 100 times before. Rifle, plates, radio, tourniquet on the left shoulder strap where you can reach it with either hand. You look at the faces one more time. Captain, Capitan. The rank found you the way every rank in this war has found you. Not because you asked, because someone had to do it, and you were still standing. The convoy moves at 0100. You ride in the second vehicle. The village is dark ahead. The assault goes as planned for the first 40 minutes. First platoon breaches the eastern perimeter. Second platoon pushes through the main road. The drone team reports Russian positions collapsing toward the center of the village. Then the southern flank locks up. Third platoon takes concentrated fire from a basement position that wasn't on any reconnaissance feed. They're pinned. The radio fills with voices you train to stay calm, and you can hear the calm breaking. You make the decision in less than 3 seconds. You reposition forward with your radio man to a structure 50 meters from the contact point. From there, you can see the basement position. You call in the drone team. You redirect 2nd Platoon south. You coordinate the fire that breaks the position open. 3rd Platoon moves again. The village falls by 0600. You don't hear the village fall. The round that finds you comes from a window 200 meters east while you're standing in the open coordinating the final push. Your radio man pulls you behind a wall. The medic arrives in 90 seconds. It isn't enough. The XO takes command. He finishes what you started. By sunrise, the village belongs to Ukraine. The citation is read 4 weeks later in Kyiv for exceptional personal courage and decisive leadership under fire resulting in the successful completion of the assigned mission. Your family flies from the United States. Your mother stands in a room she's never been in a country she's never visited, in a war she never fully understood. The medal is pinned to a flag. The president says your name. He gets the pronunciation almost right. You came here with a bag and a